All right. I think we're live here.
Oh
We
yeah.
are.
Anybody want to start off? Give a little bit about yourself and what got you into boat racing and fast boats.
Let's hear from pre 280 Cam first.
All right. I've been around fast boats my whole life. I When I was little, my dad had them. My grandfather had them. I was born. My dad had a 2002. Sold it. Got an SS. Uh, my grandfather actually had the boat that I own now. I bought it from him 2019, I think. I had a stock Pro Max on it to learn how to drive, and I took my time learning how to drive a boat. Probably 5 or 6 years it took me to learn how to drive one, and started with a stock Pro Max, played with it for a little while. I bought a cut V6 Pro motor, put on here for a little while. It was pretty fun. I ended up selling it. Went back to stock Pro Max and got talked into to racing. And it was a rocky start for sure. My first race, I went, I think it was Soda at Bama Slam. Went 2 and out to the trailer. It was not pretty. And then I think Justin Brooks and Trevor Wood talked me into setting my boat up to run some ODBA stuff. So I tried that out. 2022 would have been my first year with them. Went to Moss Point. Got pretty lucky the first couple passes on Saturday and ended up getting third. Then Sunday, 2 and out to the trailer. I fought motor problems the rest of the year last year, never could get it right. Beginning of this year, started off, it was running decent, not consistent, but decent. Ran McCalla Saturday, backed into the water, fuel pump popped up. So I borrowed a fuel pump from Mr. David Allen from North Carolina, and Sunday went in the water, lost the first pass against Hop. Second pass, barely nosed out Brian Moss. And on the shutdown, my battery died and would not crank back up. So I went right to the track then. And the next race would have been Moss Point. I had to work. Pineville, I had to work. And then Demopolis got canceled. So the next race was this past weekend at Sneed's. And I made the swap to 280 with drag electronics, and it made a significant difference in my times and everything. So we showed up there, fought the motor all week long. All week long, fought the motor, could not get it to run right. Anyway, about Thursday evening, about 5 o'clock, finally got the boat to run. I didn't make a full pass. I seen the numbers down bottom were good. Came home, packed all my stuff, cleaned the boat up what little bit I could, took a nap, got up Friday morning. Went to Sneeze, tested at Sneeze Friday, boat ran good. Saturday rolled around. I ended up, I won my first two passes, I think. Then I raced Will, Harold, and PJ Johnson's boat. Lost that one. Went back, got in the losers bracket, and won my way out of the losers bracket back to racing for first place against Will again, and couldn't get nothing on that man of the lights. If anybody's raced him, he's a hard man to deal with. The lights down there, he ain't gonna give you nothing. So anyway, placed second, which I'm not mad about. Brand new setup, very little test time in the boat, so can't complain there. We'll work on it, try it again. I reckon one of y'all can take the helm here.
I guess I will. My dad bought his first Allison when I was about
13 years old. And that's where it kind of got started for me. And then he didn't have it long, probably had it a year or so and sold it. Because the boating world kind of fell off. And then I want to say in about 2014 or 2015 that he picked back up on it. And he bought a 2002 model XP2002 with a 15-inch 260. And he played the river with it. That's really all I ever done. Never done much on the boat racing. He just kind of went to the sandbar, done whatever. And then probably a year after that, I actually bought that boat from him. And I played with it at the river. I didn't keep it very long. He ended up buying a drag boat, a 96 XR 2001 with a 15-inch 300 drag. And he raced super comp with it, not for long. He didn't have it long. I ended up selling my XB to my brother. And I bought the drag boat from my dad. And I didn't race it much. I played at the sandbar with it. That's about it. I probably had it for a year, sold it. My brother kept the red XB for a little while. Then he sold it to Trevor Wood. And Trevor raced it competitively in Late Racer. We actually put the boat together on a Tuesday. And Friday morning, we were all heading to Jasper with no test time, no anything. And he actually went there and finished, I want to say, second for the weekend at the World Championship in Jasper. I want to say about 2018 or 19.
Yeah, I think it was 2018.
I think so. And then I ended up selling my XR. And then I went and bought a one-of-a-kind boat. I guess only one of six ever made, a 98 SSR with a 15-inch 200 Pro Stock setup on it. And Brad raced it in, I know, DSRA for a couple of years before I bought it from him. And I never raced it. I kept it for a little while, turned it around, sold it. And after that, I ended up getting another drag boat. I ended up getting a 98 model drag. And I put a 15-inch 280. It had pretty much had a super comp set up on it. And once again, I never done any racing. I didn't race with any. I was just more of go to the sandbar, play the type deal. Didn't keep it very long. Like I said, sold it. And then after that, ended up buying a pretty pristine 2001 XP2002. Rigged it out. I think I put a 15-inch 200 Pro Stock motor on it. Just river road. Played at the sandbar. Ended up selling it to my dad. He didn't keep it no time. He turned around, sold it to a guy. It's up in Tennessee last time I checked. And then I bought a 2000 STV known as Casper. And it was rigged out, race ready. with a 12-inch V6 Pro motor on it. And that's where I made my racing debut at, in West Monroe, Louisiana. I don't quite remember what I done. I won a few passes. I didn't do nothing special. Like a 6 or 7 boat field, I might have placed third for the weekend, something of that nature. But I
None,
also didn't have that boat. I turned it around and sold it.
yeah,
Then
nonetheless,
I
we
got
did that boat at the sandbar. We had a lot of
we
fun with
did
that.
we did took it to Claiborne up in Purdue Hill for 4th of July weekend and sandball raced a little bit. That was pretty fun. Cam got to drive it.
You know.
But I turned around, sold it, didn't keep it no time, and I ain't had a boat in probably 2 years up until now. Up until this past weekend, I picked up this boat from Thomas's dad, Harry Barton, and I'm ready to get it rigged out, get some power hung on back of it. I'm gonna put a 15-inch Pro Stock motor on it and race Pro Stock.
What happened to V6 Pro?
I got to build a V6 Pro motor first. I got one, but I got a Pro Stock motor laying on the floor.
Yeah.
All right, Thomas, spotlight's on you, pal.
Well, I've probably been at the least out of anybody. I mean, I've been around fast boats my whole life, and Dad did all his racing back before I was born in early to mid '90s, and what really got me into it was he got a 2018 XB21. We built a 3-liter and put it on there, and I've been hooked on them ever since. And
You couldn't put carburetors on that one, wasn't it?
no, it wasn't carburetors on that one. That one's EFI. I'm known as
No carbs.
We're known as
Carburetor fanatics.
but
Carburetor gurus, if you will.
EFI's too low maintenance for these guys.
Oh yeah, EFI is just it'd be too easy for us to run EFI.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Nobody would stand a chance.
Why would I want to take my boat to the river and be able to just bring it home and back it with no problems?
Honestly,
Unless you melt a piston.
but
Lane dry.
what got us back started in racing is there's one night I was scrolling through Marketplace and I found me a C5 Corvette that I wanted to build and make a street car out of. And I was talking with Dad about it, and he made a deal with me, and he said, I'll build you a race boat before I even help you build a race car. And I said, deal. So 2 weeks after that, we went to Wetumpka and watched the races down there. And the week after Wetumpka, we came home with the white. It's a white and blue. I think it's a '96 XR 2001. We rigged that boat up with the first setup on that boat was a 20-inch Mariner Ridgeback with a carbureted FF200. That's the boat that I pretty much learned how to drive. The first full pass I made in that boat, the trigger broke and the throttles hung wide open. So I had to learn how to drive it in that moment or face consequences. That was a pretty rough day. But after that, we found the boat that Tristan has now, and we bought that from, I believe, Bruce Tripp's son.
That's right.
Uh, and we set that boat up. It had its first setup was, I'm pretty sure it was a 260 with, I'm trying to think if it had the 15 W8 15s. I think it had 20s on it.
You're speaking a foreign language to me, pal.
I think it had the 15s on it. But we go out, break that motor in with, we're running a 28, and I'm trying to think where I'm lost. Anyway, we're getting all into it, and then my dad's best friend, Chris Mason, he gets interested in it. So he goes out and buys a 97 XR River Racer. And his first setup was a 20-inch bass mid with, he had, his first setup had laser injection on it with the slide. And we planned on coming to Moss Point with those setups. And 21? No, it's 22.
Yeah.
I'm really glad we changed our minds before that, because we would have really made fools of ourselves out there. But we ended up, my first racing setup was Tristan's boat with a carbureted 260, I've been told it's a factory can, but it's a lot bigger than a factory can. It's like a Taylor 15-inch mid.
Who's that? Taylor Chapman? Is that guy's name?
No, Chapman's a whole different thing.
That's
I
right.
can't Taylor fella's name, but I know what you're talking about, to say the least.
Yeah, I know there's a Chapman mid. I got
Chapman built this mid on my
the
boat
one
now.
on your new boat.
I think Taylor was actual casting mid.
Yeah, it's the same. It looks just like a factory 15-inch, but it's a lot thicker.
Right.
But we show up to Moss Point, and we don't have trim timers. We're running the boats trimmed to where they run at. And
Oh, I remember
there, and
that.
complete clown. It wasn't the greatest time. But you got to start somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Then our next race in Pineville, we all had timers. We were still learning the timers in Pineville, and it wasn't until the beginning of this year that we actually started listening to people and using tuck. Tuck is a game changer.
Big time, man.
But every race that I went to last year, I had problems that I was either 2 and out or 1 and broke. And then this year, I raced McCullough, and I went 2 and out on Saturday, and I went 2 and out Sunday too, because I broke my second after my second pass. And then we went to Moss Point, and I ended up finishing 3rd for the weekend against, other than because at this time we all race each other pretty much. I mean, it was me, Chris, another guy, Blake Parker, that races with us. He now races pro stock. And then it was Bobby and Mr. Horton, and then the Nichols. And I placed third against Bobby and Mr. Horton, which are two pretty good carbureted competitors.
Was that the guy in the white drag boat with the old school cow on it?
Yeah.
Who?
Yeah.
That was him?
Yeah.
You don't see much out of him.
No, he's pretty fast. He's out of Tennessee, I believe. But, and then Pineville, I finished third again. Finally, we were slowly getting that white and teal boat figured out, as I was still working on my hole shot. As every time I get in it, it'd bounce at least twice out of the hole. But we put, after the Pineville race, we put I think this is a 10-inch aux bracket on that boat. And the first race with it was going to be Demopolis, but it ended up getting canceled. And then this boat, which used to be Trevor Wood's boat, came up for sale, and we went down there and snagged it up.
I think that boat originally belonged to Matthew Caldwell. I know Eric Kaiser owned it at one point.
He did?
Yeah, Mark Sheffield owned it. And then Trevor got it. I may be missing Justin Gold from Texas. He owned it.
That's who
Mark.
Is that who Mark bought it from? That's what I thought.
So that boat's always been fast.
Hopefully I can keep it fast.
This boat back here belonged to Bruce Tripp, who was a very, very tough competitor back in his time. And Tommy Dunn. Also belonged to Tommy Dunn at one point in time.
And they raced Supermod in that boat.
That's right.
Or it was 1430 modified back in the day, wasn't it?
1430 modified used to be its own class.
I think maybe I was young, give me a break, but I think it was modified production was the 1430 pound.
Yeah, you're right.
I think this boat came from Scottsboro, Alabama. A guy owned a dealership, and this was his personal boat, but it sat on the showroom floor, if I can remember to the best of my ability. Like I said, this is all before I'm born. And my grandfather went to pick it up to bring to a local dealership. The local dealership was buying this boat to put on their showroom floor. And my grandfather got up there and ended up liking it. So my grandfather was technically the second owner of it, but the boat had never reached the showroom floor. And it had the wide sport console on it. And I got it. It was maroon. Not a big maroon fan. No offense to anybody with maroon boats, but I had it orange. I put the new style console on it in the race fairing. And I still got the bass fairing too, just because. But yep, this is not a comp model. The boat's pretty light. I mean, I weigh 130 pounds soaking wet, so I can get the boat down around 1,400 pounds. Goofing off of the sandbar, if you will. I don't do it much anymore, but that's where I started, anyways.
I've always been a very frequent sandbar goer in all my boats. Yep. I never done much racing. My dad has. I mean, my dad's been racing since 2017, 2018. He's now He races late racer now in his 2012 Hydro Stream Venom.
Firsthand, late racers not an easy class to jump in. One hard hit class now. Not a class to jump into by
Absolutely.
Which all the classes are pretty stiff, except carbureted classes.
Yep.
We
The difference in what y'all looked like starting in Moss Point last year and now is insane. Just the way the boats leave and how fast they are now in 800 foot. It's insane the difference it was last year.
Oh yeah, we've come a long way since starting out in Moss Point last year.
I have to agree.
I mean, we've tore up some motors testing, trying to get them right.
Hey, I'm right there with you. You know, I blew 5 last year.
Oh yeah.
Beginning of last year, I knew nothing about how to rebuild a Mercury 2.5, but I could safely say I think I could probably do it with my eyes closed at this point. Got very, very experienced at taking one apart and putting one back together.
Oh yeah,
I'm the only motor that's ever blown up. It wasn't no me. It wasn't no me fixing it. It had to go down to Diamond Marine back when they're sloping. I stuck about 4 pistons in a modified 260 on my first XB. I was a rookie. I didn't know a whole lot. I was swapping lower units on my boat. I had a unconed CLE. I wanted to go a little faster. I don't want to bust my butt. So I threw a coned 200 case on it. Threw it on there in a hurry. Went to the river. Could not figure out why I wouldn't stay running. This is back before I knew to check water pressure to see if it was peeing and all that stuff. I slightly low units like I'm about to go to the river. So I go to the river, start riding around. I don't get far from the landing. Shuts off. I ride around for another minute, shuts off again. Finally, I burned the battery. Battery went dead. Called my dad. I said, my battery went dead. Now I'm down at the river. I said, bring a battery, please. He brought me a battery. I put it in there, cranked back up. Well, after that, there was no more. She locked up. Come home. The block, it was, you could have cooked a full 5-course breakfast on that thing. It's so hot. Ended up taking the heads off, and the proof is in the pudding.
That's last year. We
that was,
I think it was after the Moss Point race last year. A few of us decided to go to Tensall over here. We was gonna go to Bluegill, and I had a set of blue painted 32cc heads on my boat. We haul off to Bluegill, and I never changed my timing on my motor. I had the timing set as far as it would go, as much time as the motor would make. I had a 30 pitch prop on here. We eased to Bluegill. It makes it there fine. We eat. We get back in the boat. We're coming back, and Greg Stedham, he was riding beside me over there, and he eased into his a little bit. I eased into mine. I probably pulled up to about 6,000, and mine started spitting and sputtering. So I turned around. It was no longer peeing. It was just blowing steam out of the hoses. Still running. Howling off, and those pretty painted blue heads were no longer blue. They were as black as they could get. I mean, just charcoal black, smoking. The smell was god awful. Burnt paint. So I had Hop's wife was there on a jet ski. She hooked a rope to me and filled my boat completely with water. No bilge pump. I don't have a bilge pump in my boat. Filled my boat completely with water on the way back to and I ended up sticking 2 pistons, number 4 and number 6, stuck both of them that day. So I've been there too. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's going to go through it at least once.
I think my brother holds the crown of detonating a motor. A
Yeah,
280 at that.
yeah.
I mean, he blew the starter off the side of the motor. Starter brake, like the front half of the motor, just it was all just laying in the pan.
You put your hand in the side of the block from the hole that Justin put in that thing.
Oh yeah, you could look in it and see the other person on the other side over there.
How did he manage to do
Oh,
that?
not to mention the super gas, the super gas 200 that he
Well,
detonated in Demopolis right before a race. He also blew a hole in that one that we could see each other through. It was strolling though. I'll give him that. That sucker was running.
yeah, yep. I had a lot of help though over my career, I guess you would say. I I, I got a lot of smart people helping me out. Dwayne Diamond helps me beyond measure. I mean, you won't find a better guy. He he gave you a shirt off his back, not think twice about it. And uh, spare parts, he's got just about anything you could think of. Taylor Crabtree's quiet. He's a quiet guy. He's a man of few words, but I mean, he's smart. He knows stuff. And I mean, I could go on naming folks, but Josh Broussard's helped me out a bunch with setup and motor height and stuff. And I mean, Ken, I wouldn't know. I'd be clueless without some help from people that's been doing it, because it's hard to come into it and not ask for help. You know, nobody helping you, you're going to be in a bad spot.
It'd be very tough. Very fortunate to know the people that we know
Oh yeah.
to be able to that's willing to lend a helping hand and share their knowledge with you. Because I mean, I've been several times working on stuff that I couldn't figure out, just clueless. But there was always somebody I knew that I could call that would help me. So
David Allen, I'd never talked to him a day in my life. He lended me a fuel pump at the race. You know, I didn't have a spare fuel pump. I mean, I do now, but I didn't have a spare fuel pump. You know what I mean? And never talked to this man a day in my life, and he didn't think twice about lending me a fuel pump. So people like that, what keeps the sport going.
Oh yeah.
yeah. I do wish it would grow a little bit. I wish more people would try to find their way into it, to find a club or association or whatever to join and run with.
And I think, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a cheap hobby by any means.
No.
But I mean, you
No,
really don't have to break the bank. I mean, if you got a boat and a motor, you don't need a trim timer. I think Soda's got that class that runs no trim timers. They're pretty broad on their rules. They're not real strict on motor combinations and stuff like that. ODBA, you're a little more a fine set of rules that you've got to fall under. But like I said, I mean, it's an even playing field. I don't think there's no setup really has a great advantage over the next setup wise in each class. So
I agree. Just find something that works for you and just try to do your best. Yeah, just run it.
And that's like coming from the Pro Max setup. I really do think that setup will run, but I personally don't know enough about it to make it run. I mean, I fought it for 2 years trying to make it run, and I mean, I would take one step forward and 3 steps back. I get the motor to run all right, it'd blow up. You know what I mean? And then I'd fight to get back where it was. It never would get really where it needed to be. And Dwayne and Hop and them, they all 280s. They're not real knowledgeable of the 280s. So I mean, I couldn't buy a 280 to start with. I couldn't afford it, and I was fortunate enough to be able to afford one. So it kills me knowing I have that much money back there. You know what I mean? But I'm happy with the way it's running, and I think it can be improved from where I'm at now. So.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I bet it's a little gut wrenching having that much money strapped on the back of the motor, not knowing what's going to happen next.
Especially in today's time, expensive and things are.
Oh yeah.
Yep, it's not a Pro Max. It's not muriatic acid, horn, and put another piston in it.
No, just break it down. I think it's called US Chrome. Get it re-nicked.
Or just put steel sleeves in it.
You can only put two steel sleeves in it to stay legal in OWA.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep. Well, I think good first episode. You know, not nothing crazy, nothing super fascinating, but nonetheless, you know, kind of a start to it, anyways.
It is a start into the depths of boat racing.
And the more we do this, with everything, and as time goes on, we'll get more into it. So,
oh yeah,
get Thomas Warren back of this 280 back here.
I think I could have ran with you this weekend or last weekend. I think I would have nosed you.
I don't know.
I can paddle mine.
I got a motor in the corner if you want to borrow it, Tristan.
What's that?
I got a Minn Kota trolling motor over there in the corner if you want to put on back of that thing.
Strap it on.
No,
I mean, that'd be a start.
Me and Thomas, we're gonna have to settle this. You know, it's been ongoing for a while.
It has been ongoing for a while.
Something's got to give there. We're gonna have to settle it eventually.
I think
I'm gonna do something.
I think I got the one that can do it.
Yeah, well, you got the boat that can do it. You're just gonna have to get one of them carbureted motors to stay together for a couple of days.
Make sure, Thomas.
Huh?
Make sure you put the right jets in it.
Put them 99.
We got to put the 99s in there. 99s in the air and 99s in the mains.
That means
now you're on.
All right, fellas. Well, I'm going to end it here. I think I don't want to get them too long. I'm not even real sure how long it's been, but I think
either.
We're still